I'm excited. I feel like we put together, like, accidentally, a really cute little episode.
Yeah, I think this will be a cute one because they're both Game Pass puzzle games, which is fun.
Yeah, we have a theme, and they're both, like, spoiler alert, pretty good.
Yeah, I thought so.
Want to get started?
Let's. Hi, I'm Bridget.
And I'm Maddie. Welcome to Baddy Breakdowns, where we hang out, have fun, and play games all the way to the end. Today, we're going to talk about Botany Manor and The Rewinder. We'll give you the breakdown from its creation to its critical reception. Then we'll take you on a deep dive into the game as we share our own experiences and opinions while playing it. We'll close with if we recommend it, who we'd recommend it to, and last but not least, our personal rating. With that, let's solve puzzles.
Yay! I'm glad we got a little puzzle break. This is nice. This is a nice
Yeah,
relaxing
and they're
one.
both like really nice little bite-sized games.
Yes, yeah.
I think Botany Manor took me 4 hours and the Rewinder was about 6.
That sounds about right. I finished them both, I think, in a sitting. Like, I don't think I took longer than a sitting.
Rewinder was 2 for me. Botany Manor, I was also 2 for me. I don't know. I can't do the sittings like you can.
That's fair. It's two normal people sittings.
But they were both pretty short.
Yes.
Which was nice.
I think you have our descriptions for today.
I do have the descriptions. All right, so let's start with Botany Manor.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Botany Manor, a stately home in 19th century England. You play as inhabitant Arabella Green, a retired botanist. Explore your house and gardens filled with research to figure out the ideal habitat of forgotten flora. Grow each plant to discover the mysterious qualities they hold. I think that's an incredible description.
It's a good description because it covers both like the ambiance of the game, the tone of the game, and what you're going to be doing within it. So I feel like it actually captures pretty much all the elements.
It's like actually good.
Yeah. Like if I read that, I would know exactly what the game was.
Yeah. The Rewinders is good too. These indie studios, they
really get it.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fun. I guess we'll go ahead and jump into the how it's made. But both of these sections are also very small studios. Botany Manor was the debut game for Balloon Studios. It released in April 2024, and it was founded by, I don't know how to pronounce it because it's Laure, like Laure. Laure. I don't know. I'm so sorry, Laure, if you hear this. Laure DeMay. And she started off as a game programmer, working for other studios, and then decided she wanted to make this game, so she started at Balloon Studios. And it was her, and I found the artist and designer Kit Brine. I didn't find the full studio that worked on this, but I'm pretty sure it was a fairly small production studio.
The credits was like 11 people.
Yeah, like it was pretty small. This one and the other one that we're going to talk about, Rewinder, it's just fun when you get all these really nice little puzzle games made by such a small group of people. Some of the inspiration for this game I thought was really fun and interesting. Like this was weird inspiration I was not anticipating, which I think is always exciting. So first, the inspiration that she had was primarily Croft Manor levels in Tomb Raider. Isn't that cool?
Whoa, that is cool.
Yeah, and I know that we haven't played the Tomb Raider that included the Croft Manor levels, so I know that we haven't done that. But Tomb Raider is just such a different vibe that it's so funny to me that was where she started.
That's so interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, and then the second inspiration is she visited Charles Darwin's house. And it was full of plants and things that he did his like scientific research on. And it was this big manor that she really was like, wow, this is so cool. And I love the aesthetic of all of like the plant life and all those kinds of fun things. And then one of the last pieces actually was a botanical painter, Marion North. And she has a lot of these like botanical paintings. And the reason that they said that she was so interesting is that she contributed a lot to actually the science of botany, but she did it like through her art, which I think is such a cool way to think about that.
That's so cool. And she was born in the 1800s.
Yes, yeah. And so what I found as, like, I read, I think 3 or 4 interviews from Lore and Kit. And what I found is that they tried to take inspiration from the women of botany from these time periods in the, like, plants that they used, which were all made up. Like, the plants were all made up. They were inspired by science. But they tried to
it's like magical realism.
Exactly, yeah. They try to take inspiration from real science, but also from the women botanists of the day and like the different discoveries that they had and the different contributions that they had. And I thought that was really fun, and I wouldn't have thought about that.
I love that.
I know, that's the correct feeling. The other thing that I'll mention too when it comes to the art style is that they really like the idea of travel posters, like these older travel posters from back in the day that were very vibrant and painterly. And they wanted that to follow through in the art style, which I think is really interesting because most of it was just 3D, like the actual like 3D minimalistic kind of space. But they did definitely have some of those pieces in the details and the elements of the puzzles themselves and like the interactions. As we dig into the story, I wasn't sure if they'd picked it for like a story theme, like why did they pick the 19th century? That was the era of a lot of scientific discovery happening, and they liked the idea of that tying well in with the mechanics that they had and the story that they wanted to tell. The narrative itself, they were actually very intentional with. They didn't want it to be straightforward, linear, you have to find it in a specific order for it to make sense. They wanted it to be subtle and kind of follow through the story, or sorry, follow through the game.
But it is linear.
The underlying narrative, which is about women and science.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
I see.
not
You're
like
right.
not like the narrative of discovering the plants, but the actual underlying, like Arabella and finding pieces of her family and those kinds of things. And they said explicitly that they wanted to highlight this woman in science narrative because it drew a lot of inspiration based on the lives of both Lore and Kit. Like, they're both women in these technical, like, spaces, working in games, right? Lore herself is a programmer. And so a lot of these experiences are something that felt close to home, being in these spaces. And when they thought about what it would be like to be a woman scientist in this time period, it would have been difficult to be able to do this and to try to achieve something that nobody really wants you to have. They really cared a lot about that storyline kind of coming through.
Oh, wow. They're like young.
Are they? I guess I didn't look up their ages.
Yeah, I just looked at their website, and they have like a little thing that says the team, and Lore and Kit look like they're in their 20s, like mid to early 20s, to be honest. And for your first game to get on Game Pass, that's like incredible.
Yeah.
She has a LinkedIn. I'm sorry, I'm diving in right now.
We're just gonna stalk Lore for a second. Sorry, everybody.
She graduated with her bachelor's in 2016. That means she's our age.
Yeah, because I graduated with my bachelor's.
That's literally our age, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, she graduated high school in 2012. That's when we graduated high school. Yep.
Yeah. So sorry, Lore, you're not actually young. You're 30 like us.
Yeah. Okay. You are young, Lore. You are young.
They're young. We're all young. It's fine.
I wonder if Kit has a... Kit is... they're British. Of course they're British.
I assumed because she said
like
she went to the Charles Darwin's house, and I was like, I think that's in Britain, right? Or the UK. I guess I shouldn't say Britain. I don't know where it's actually at.
Oh my gosh, let's be friends with them. Let's try to hang out with them next GDC.
They brought this game to PAX. They were in Seattle.
Okay, Kit graduated. She graduated in 2009. 2009. So
college or high school?
College.
So 7 years
so
older?
She's a little older.
She's a little older. Yeah.
But she looks so young.
So we need to be friends with them to get the skincare routine is what
We
I'm
need the
hearing.
skincare routine.
You know whose skincare routine we need? Dear God, is Penelope's. Is Nicola, whatever,
Nicola
Penelope?
Coughlin.
Nicola, there we
Yeah.
go. She is 37 years old, and I thought she was
Yeah.
25, and I literally, whatever she does.
Okay, she doesn't look 25, Bridget.
Yes,
That's
she
very
does.
generous.
Look at her. Have you seen her? She looks so young.
I think she looks 25.
I do. She looks younger than me, and I'm 30. So she has to be less than 30.
I don't think she looks younger than you.
Really? No.
I don't think so. I think she looks...
I would have guessed probably more like 27.
she looks our age. I think she looks our age. Anyways, sorry. We've gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole. I love seeing women making games, and I just wanted to learn a little bit more about them, and now I have. And they both have LinkedIns, and that's fun.
You should add them on LinkedIn.
Oh my god, no. Embarrassing. They're already going to see me. LinkedIn does that. It's like,
That's
this
true,
person viewed your profile.
Yeah.
They're actually a second connection.
Well, we work at Xbox and we work at Game Pass. I'm sure they're friends, or they're linked to the Game Pass studio people.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Okay, I will get us back on track. So last thing was the focus on accessibility. So there's actually a page on the publisher's website. So they were actually published. I can't remember who published them, but they did partner with a publisher. And on that publisher's website, they had a whole page devoted to accessibility. And on quite a few of the interviews that I read, they called out accessibility being a big piece of what they wanted to do. They wanted to make sure that everyone felt like they could play, and they also thought that the genre that they were making, something that was very cozy, very relaxing, very simple, would probably be feel approachable to people who had not played games before. So they wanted to make sure that their game was accessible for those people who were going to be maybe newer to gaming and still be able to enjoy their experience, which I thought was really thoughtful. I love when people take the time to do that. And so some of the things that they thought about were things like, they had a whole list on their website about features and functionality that helped reduce motion sickness because it was first person. And they also had things like the ability to control the game with just a single stick, so you don't need two hands in order to do that, which I thought was cool. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of other ones as well. Those are just the two that stood out to me as really unique. And then they also thought a lot about like the stress of the game and making sure that you could solve the puzzles in any amount of time. You could take as much time as you wanted. So they actually put all the benches in the game as kind of a moment to like relax and chill and just think about the puzzles. So like you could just use the benches to just chill and take your time with however long you wanted a puzzle. And I actually got an achievement for sitting on the bench for a super long time, which I think is fun.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't get that one.
Yeah, I had sat down because I was like, this is cute. And then I had got up to get a snack or something and sit back down, so I was eating. And then I got an achievement for just sitting on the bench, and I'm like, look at me go. And then I sat on every bench after that to see if I get an achievement for sitting a lot, but I didn't. That's okay. Okay, and that's all that I had for the How It's Made for this section.
Yay! Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Critical reception, it has an 82 on Metacritic with a 7.2 user score, and that's really good.
Yeah.
Very positive on Steam. They're hovering at around 300 reviews on Steam, which isn't a lot, but like that doesn't surprise me too much. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to check Xbox
I was going to say,
really
if
quickly.
most people got it on Game Pass, then they wouldn't have purchased it there.
Okay, 600 reviews on Xbox. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It was also very positive on Steam. Looking at the Xbox reviews, it's got like a 4.5 stars, which I'm surprised about because typically Xbox reviews are like more negative.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one really had any bad words to say about this game. Everyone was saying it's cute, it's cozy, the puzzles were good, the concept was good. The biggest negative was the price to length ratio. I literally could not find any negatives from any like critics.
Yeah.
It was just that like when I say 82 on Metacritic, it's just that critics are like rating it like 70 to 90.
Yeah. What was the price of it then, like on Xbox and Steam?
So it's $22 on Steam.
Okay.
So it's just like
That's
a little
pretty
steep.
Expensive.
This is something I wanted to talk to you about actually. So like literally every single negative review on Steam was game was good, price was too much. And it is like a 3 to 4 hour long game.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, is $22 that crazy for 4 hours of entertainment if I'm being, or 3 hours if I'm being more generous? Because I was like, well, what's the price of a movie ticket? Like, it's a little bit over that, but like maybe if you're,
I think that the issue is that there's a precedent, and I know that I myself have this problem because I compare everything incorrectly to Stardew Valley. I did that for a really long time, where that was what, like $15, and I was like,
that's so true.
I mean, that one should have sold for like 40. It was a lot smaller when they first started, but I mean, I incorrectly map it to my head a lot in that way, and I don't think that's very fair to the creators of these games. But I think in my head, when I think of a game like this that can be played in one sitting, that's really 3 to 4 hours.
It's like $15.
I expect 15, I think. Or even 15 to 20.
And that's what everyone was saying. Yeah. Exactly. Everyone was like max $20, and it's 22, so it's like not that much more, but I wonder if like they would have gotten. And this is hard for like new studios too. Like no one's helping you do these things. No one's helping you price your game.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, they did have a publisher, so publisher might have been able to help. Maybe they said do it at 20 whatever. I don't know.
That's true. But like typically, right, if you're small, like you don't really know the best pricing point for your game if you're not like a business person.
Yeah.
And so I think that like and maybe the publisher convinced them to do it and it probably wasn't in their best interest, because I wonder if the conversation was, well, this is on Game Pass, so on Steam we want to get like more revenue from it, so we want to like have the purchase price be a little bit higher. But I do think it would have been in their favor to like lower it a bit.
Yeah.
I do think that like, to your point, maybe even like $18 would have felt better.
That's the number that was in my head. I was like, 18 feels like a sweet spot for this because it was a high quality game. It was just short, and I feel like sub 20 you can like be fine with. But over 20, it starts to look more expensive just because of the way that games are priced a lot of the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just an awkward price point for a game so short. Although I will say that I would have probably paid it, but I might have been a little disappointed. Game Pass, it was perfect. Ooh, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Unpacking was originally $19.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's like I would equate this to Unpacking.
I agree with that.
And so in that case, like, yeah, just like a little bit lower. And it's so interesting how psychologically $2 like makes a difference, but I think it does.
I think it does. Yeah. There's a reason why they put 99s instead of the whole dollar up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, that was it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Maddie. Do you want to dig into first impressions?
Yeah. Oh, also, just really quickly, it is a spoiler discussion because it's a puzzle game.
Yes, I agree with that.
Cool.
Okay, so I picked up this game before we decided to play it for the podcast. I was looking for something that was really relaxing. Like, I had a stressful time. I needed to chill. And so right away, the atmosphere was showing me that I made the right choice. Like, it was so
totally
calm and chill. And even though I'm usually not the biggest fan of like the blocky 3D art style, I thought they did really well with like the textures and the lighting, even in that 3D space, to make it feel really nice. And so I was really delighted with what I had chosen. And the first set of puzzle that you get inside of the little room with all the fog, it was a very nice quick puzzle that was very satisfying and helped teach you, I think, all the core mechanics of the game like pretty well. I like when puzzle games teach you a little so then you can figure out how to apply that later on, and I thought this game did that really well. So overall, I was feeling really good at the beginning, so much so that I was like, Chris, I'm really excited that I'm playing this. Like, I was excited that I had picked it up like pretty quickly. What about you?
So you texted me. You were like, hey, I want to talk about this game. And I was like, should I play it? And you were like, I think you should. And so I just started playing it, and I was just so delighted.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know how else to describe it. To your point, like the art was just very cute. It's very relaxing. Gosh, like we never like life is just so stressful, and it's just such a joy to like run into something that is truly just relaxing and
Yeah.
like positive
Mm-hmm.
in a way, you know? And I feel like a lot of the times with games, like they're trying to say something, and that there's nothing wrong with that. And this game is doing some of that. But like not say something, but just like have these like deep character moments and
Yeah.
these, you know, these like hardships or whatever to like get past. And you know, we had just come off of Disco Elysium, which is like this hard boiled like
Yeah.
alcoholic, you know,
Yeah.
and it was just so delightful to step into this world and like just have fun with figuring out plant puzzles and like growing flowers. Like it was just so nice.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I just really it just like really struck me. Yeah.
Well, the premise itself is just so fun. Like, you are this botanist in this cute little manor, and you're filling out this little, you're trying to write a novel, or not a novel, but like publish a
Yeah.
book on all of these flora, like
Like rare
discoveries.
flora.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just such a fun concept. And it's built so well for both cozy and puzzling. Like, it's just a very good concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the flowers themselves that you're finding, like you're trying to grow. So essentially, I mean, Bridget kind of covered it, but the puzzles itself is you have a chapter, and in that chapter you have 2 to 4 flowers that you're trying to make bloom. And then there's things in your environment that give you hints as to like what will make that flower bloom. So you're planting it, and then you're maybe adding something to the soil, or maybe you're putting it in front of something to change the temperature. Like those are the types of things that you're doing to figure out how to make that flower bloom. And the cool thing that they've done is the flowers have a bit of like magical
Mm-hmm.
aspects to them. It's flowers that don't exist in real life, but they're very cool. Like the first flower that you make bloom is a flower that sucks up pollution from the air.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's really fun. Your first area, you figure it out, and Bridget kind of already said it. Like your first area is very foggy and like it's dirty inside, and then you make this flower bloom, and it just goes like it's like plays a nice
Yeah.
little sound. It's like and it's very pretty, and then the fog clears away because it sucks up all of the pollution in the air. And like how wonderful is that?
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes. It is very sweet. And I felt like the way that they had built out the design of those mechanics, I thought was really good. The actual puzzle design, I really liked. Like they did the thing that I'm a really big fan of, and I won't spoil our discussion for next week, but the breadcrumbing that they do here is really, really good. Like, they have done the thing where they don't tell you outright how to do every single step, but you already have in your head the goal that you're trying to accomplish. They then give a lot of environmental hints, in my opinion, towards the kind of things to look for and how to piece these things together. And if we talk about like our favorite ones of the puzzles, we can talk more about how that kind of gets put together. But I thought that they did a really good job at that, because it results in those happy moments of like, oh my God, I'm so smart. It's very delightful of like, wow, I figured that out. And this is how I did it. I saw this and that, and I put those together, you know. And even though the difficulty itself I thought was pretty low, pretty simple, they did it in a way that it didn't feel like it was spoon feeding me. It was still like I had to think. And I really, really liked that. I thought the puzzle design was very good.
And you're an expert puzzler, and so I'm like a little insulted that you're like they were kind of easy, but like I thought they struck a really good balance.
Yeah.
I mean, they started easier for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I felt like there were some in there that were quite tricky.
I think that there was one that I had a harder time on. But I will say that I do puzzles, and my hobby is puzzles. So I'm going to maybe skew on the side of like, oh, that was a little bit simpler.
Yeah.
But I think that part of it too is because the puzzle design was so good, I was able to follow it really well. I do not do as well in games where they don't do that breadcrumbing as much because I get annoyed at the way that the puzzles are formed, and that I'm mad the whole time that I'm like, this is what I would have done, and I would have changed it this way, and it's stupid that they put this in this place instead of that in that place because it would have been better. And so when they design the puzzles, I think, well, like this, I end up going through them a lot quicker, just out of like, oh, I recognize this pattern, oh, I'm gonna follow it. But I would say that in general, they had a lot of really creative like solutions and creative ways to put it together, and I really, really liked that, and it was very unique in some of the instances that I liked a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so as a little summary of the background story that you start uncovering, do we want to touch on that a little bit?
Totally.
And then maybe talk about our favorite puzzles?
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay. So, one of the cool things about this game is you're in this very cozy environment, you're making these flowers bloom, but on the side, you're uncovering these letters about your character's life. And you start putting together that she's a female botanist, like scientist, but she's not respected in the industry because she's a woman. And she has multiple letters of men being like, oh, it's cute that you're trying to do this, but no. And she's trying to publish this book of rare plants that she's working on. And I just, like, the story, like, really got to me. I was like, wow. And I also loved that the character is this middle-aged woman. Like, how often are middle-aged women main characters?
Yeah.
And I just love that because a lot of times in society, like, women are not really allowed to age.
For sure.
And, like, after you hit, like, a certain age, like, you're just invisible in society for women. And I just love that this game is like, hey, I mean, I'm guessing at her age, but, like,
I mean, they said retired,
to 60s.
so I would assume.
Yeah, retired, yeah. So, one, I just loved that. And then I also just loved, like, the female scientist aspect of it. And it makes it more impactful that the people working on this game are also women in industries that are traditionally, like, men.
Yeah.
Because we've, what was that game that we just played where it was like, oh, Open Roads.
Yeah.
Where it was like this dude writing these stories about these women and it just feels so phony.
Yes, I
right?
totally agree.
Whereas this is actually created by women.
And I mean, I feel like you could
really
feel that. And that was when I texted you. So as I was playing, I thought it was a cute puzzle game, but I was just playing it to play it. And then at some point I found something where they were like, oh, you can join this other guy's like expedition. You can join his expedition and go help him out, like as an assistant. She can't be an actual scientist, but she can be an assistant. And then she gets a letter later that's like the dude who published it saying, you did such an amazing job. You were absolutely like flawless. It was great working with you. I love to work with you anytime. And then eventually you find the published paper like framed and it doesn't have her name on it. And
it doesn't have her name on it. That made me so mad.
I know. And then like you find other stuff too where it's like
and did you notice that he took credit for her discovery?
Yes, he took, even though he wrote the nice letter of, oh, you're such a good help. And it was around this little storyline that I found where I texted you and I was like, I want to talk about this. And it was because it was such an interesting, like, what's the word? Like merger of things and feelings that I was having. Because it was this nice little relaxing environment. And yet I was slowly getting infuriated at this stupid world, like slowly. And, like, at some point, they're like, oh, you're going to teach the children. Like, she's teaching other little girls stuff. And then they're like, why are you doing that? Like, it's nice that you guys have your little gardening hobby, but it's clearly not botany. And I'm like, please die. Like, I was getting so mad.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I was so mad is because it all felt so realistic. Like, when the aunt, or I don't know if it was an aunt, but a relative was like, just say that it's your uncle's. Like, you're going to the library to check out a fancy book. say that it's for your uncle who's a botanist so that you don't have to deal with the like stress of them maybe not giving it to you.
She had created this community of women scientists,
yes.
and they were like sharing like how they get resources and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And so it was just, that's why I texted you, is when I started to uncover these little pieces, because I was like, what a unique way to do it. And I think you could just tell that it was made by women that experienced it, because it was so transparently like, yes, I relate to that. And even if I obviously am not a scientist in the 19th century, like clearly that's not who I am, but I have had experiences that felt belittling like this, just working in like computer science and engineering and all those kinds of spaces. And I'm sure you have too. And it's just too relatable. It's too relatable. And so I'm playing this cute little game where I'm trying to grow flowers. Then it's like her name's not on the paper, and I'm like, ah! Just
yeah. It's also really, to me though, it's like highlighting something that I've always really thought, and so I like that they're doing it, of like how many inventions or discoveries or whatever are actually like women and people of color. Their histories just were erased because the people publishing the things were white men, right? And so I do kind of feel like there's a piece of it that's not hopeful, but just like
a reminder.
It's a reminder. Yeah. It's a reminder. It's like, hey, women have always been scientists. Women have, people of color have always been scientists. Like, they just never got the opportunity.
Yeah.
And they had to fight for
what little recognition
even an ounce. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to skip fast forward to the ending, but since the story is small, is it okay if I do?
Yeah.
The ending itself too is really hard, because the whole point of this game is you're making this book about these rare flora, and she's talking about teaching the little girls and those kinds of things, and it ends with a little schoolroom set up in the old library where she's teaching all these little girls botany. And you find that she's doing this, but still at the same time, she's teaching through her rare flora book that did not get published. It did not get picked up. They did not accept it.
Yeah.
Even though there were like plenty of hints throughout the game that the things she was doing were new and definitely like things that other people had not done before, and took years of research from her and her grandmother. Like, it was sobering, I think is probably the word that I would use for it, that at the end, like the quote-unquote happy ending was that she got to teach all these little girls science, but not that people actually respected her outside in the botany, like, field, so.
Yeah. Oh, Bridget.
It's so, like, I don't know. It's unfair. I know Arabella is made up, but it's unfair.
It is.
Yeah.
It is unfair. It's totally unfair. And it was such a bittersweet ending of like, she got to open her botany school for girls, but she didn't get her book published. They still said no.
Yeah, and her school has to be for girls, because that's the only people that, want to learn science from another woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It was bittersweet. It was very bittersweet. And I mean, on the plus side, she had a great house. So
it was a really nice house, and she had a lot of pretty flowers.
At least she had that house. Anything else you want to touch on about the story?
No, I don't think so. I just thought this was a nice way to do it, because it wasn't really like a narrative story. It just kind of like sat there as ambiance that sat around like the puzzle. I just thought it was a really nice mix. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you pick up notes and you look in the trash and see like letters that have been thrown away, and you see posters and stuff. Oh, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I really like the way that they did it. Like, very environmental storytelling.
Yeah.
Is very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, do you want to talk about our favorite puzzles?
I would love to know your, I can't even say it, favorite puzzle. I'm not
puzzle. The one I was the most proud of was the moth one.
Oh, interesting. Okay, tell me
why.
I
really liked the moth one. So I, unfortunately, did not take notes on this game because we didn't really know we were playing it for the podcast, like, until after we had both played it. But if memory serves, it was this, I was having a hard time, like, putting the pieces together for this puzzle. Like, I knew it had something to do with moths, but I wasn't like, it's like, how do I know what? Because you read this fairy tale, and it's about a fairy that gets stuck in a flower. And it's, the flower only blooms like one time a year, and so the fairy got stuck in, and so then she's trapped for the rest of the year, whatever. And then you're walking around, and I was like, okay, so there's something with like a fairy, and there's something with this flower, and then you see this diagram of moths in different seasons and like when they're around. And I was like, gosh, when is this, like, I don't know what moths really have to do with this, but like there's something going on here. And then I was like walking around again because I couldn't quite figure it out. And then I see this painting on the wall of the fairy. And I was like, wait, that fairy kind of looks like one of the moths in the diagram that I had seen earlier. And so then you put the pieces together of like, oh, like the moths were getting trapped in the flowers, and that caused this, like that was the fairy tale origins probably, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at the diagram of when that moth is in season, and then you learn that it blooms during this certain season, and then you have to go all the way up to another room at these old paintings that your grandma had done about the sunsets during different seasons. And then you pick out the sunset, and then you go put the sunset lighting together, and you make the flower bloom. And I was just like that one just very much delighted me.
Yeah. I really like that.
And there's
one
like all of those different pieces, and like I really liked the like, oh wait, that's like a painting on the wall that normally I wouldn't have really paid attention to. But then it had the fairy, and I was like, wait, it's a fairy. And then, oh wait, it looks like a moth. And that's like, I just really liked that one.
Yeah. And see, that's a very, very good example of like the breadcrumbing, right? They had the really clear connection points, but it was still hard and delightful because you had to go to different places. And I thought that the section you're talking about was where the difficulty really ramped up because they started giving you more than like just a few flowers. Like that one was like 4, right?
4,
yeah. And so that one too, you were getting all these quote unquote red herrings because they went with like different flowers.
And one of the smart things that they did is they don't really tell you where the clues are. So you have to backtrack a lot. But it wasn't in an annoying way because they limited it to these sections. And so that made it feel like sometimes if like a game would do that, I would get mad that they weren't respecting my time. But with this one, because it was like more contained, it like didn't feel bad to backtrack.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally agree.
All right, I want to hear your favorite.
Okay, so my favorite one was the bird one, where you had to lead the trail of little birds. And this one I liked mostly just because I thought it was just not what I expected. And this one had like kind of a few layers because you had to know like how to change based on the color of the bird what you wanted the flower to be, because they would only like drink out or pollinate, I don't know what it was, pollinate like certain specific types of flowers. And so you had to put together which flower based on the pH level that you would pollinate. And then after you figure that all out based on the color of the bird, which is just really fun, like what a silly little thing to do. It's just really fun. You go and you find a little bird and you're like, well, that's cute. And he like runaways from you into his little home. And then you realize that all throughout the garden are these little bird posts, but there's no actual like birdhouse for it. So then if you go find a second birdhouse, you gotta like chain walk these birdhouses down to the flower, the place where you can put the flower so that it'll pollinate it. And then once you actually do pollinate it, all these birds come and like flowers grow up. And it was just such a fun payoff every single time the flower bloomed. And they actually said this in the interviews, is that they wanted to make sure every time that you solved a puzzle, you physically saw the flower bloom. Like they thought that was an important part. They didn't want it to happen off screen and then you come back to see it. And so I thought that this one was one of the more like magical versions of it because of all the birds and the scenery and the way that it grew up in like the little room that it was in. It was just really cute. Like I don't think That one wasn't probably the most complex solve of all of them, although this one did have quite a few steps. It was just really fun, and it was a little unexpected, the different path that they took you on. I don't know. I thought that one was cute.
Yeah, that one was very cute. I loved the bird. I just, I'm DK and I do like bird watching for fun.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I didn't know
it up. We picked it up during the pandemic. It was like one of our pandemic hobbies. We have
Where do you bird watch? Just out of your house?
Discovery Park.
Oh, Discovery Park. Okay, that makes sense.
Discovery Park is a really great one. Mercer Island is really good.
I had no idea.
And yeah, just like around the house, like around the neighborhood that we're in. Like if we walk towards the water, there's some really nice like potential birds that you can see. But yeah, so I always get very delighted by anything with birds because I think they're very pretty.
They are.
But
they're so cute.
I just really liked this game, and I think we can wrap it up soon. But one of the things I did want to mention is that I just, like, DK was kind of laughing at me because he was watching me play it, because I played it in almost one sitting.
Yeah.
But it's just like every time I get one and it would bloom, I was like, oh, pretty. Like, it was just so pretty. And it was making me really happy. And I just really liked it. And, like, games, like, I don't know. I just don't feel like I experience that kind of joy in a game very often.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like games tend to lean towards gritty, and then the cozy games are very specific and, in my opinion, not always good. Like, sometimes they're just cozy for the sake of being cozy, but the game itself isn't actually very good. So it's kind of unique to find a game that's so good, but also just, like, so nice. Just nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, shall we pivot to the Rewinder?
Yes, let's finish with our ratings, who we recommend it to, all that fun stuff.
Oh, okay. I am going to give this yes, I recommend it. Please go play it. We only spoiled 2 puzzles, and there's more than 2 puzzles.
Yes.
If you've gotten to this point and you have not played it, I would still absolutely recommend it, especially if you have Game Pass. If you have Game Pass, there's literally no excuse not to play this game.
Agree.
None. It will just delight you. And I gave it... Okay, so my rating is interesting, which is why I kind of wanted to combine it with the next one. But I did have a 5 out of 5 experience with this game, so I'm giving it a 5 out of 5.
Look at you, Maddie! We got a 5 out of 5! We know how hard those are to come across now.
I had a 5 out of 5 experience, so there it is. That was my experience. And I really liked the moth flower, so I don't know, that one.
Good.
For my little picture.
5 out of 5 moth flowers.
I don't remember what it's called.
I know you don't. I don't either. I can't help you. Okay, well, I'm just going to plus one to what Maddie said. Go play it. And then for my rating, like, this was like the perfect little package. Is exactly what I needed in that moment. Like, if I could have dreamt the thing that I needed, it was exactly that. God, see, I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5, and I say that mostly just because for me, I like a little bit more difficulty, but I will say that I thought it was very well balanced, and that it was very delightful, and I don't know that I could have imagined a better game in that moment. So very good, and I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. Were the birds red? Red birds. Red birds.
Robins. They were robins.
Red robins. Oh no, but now it's a burger restaurant. I'll give it 4 out of 5 burger restaurants. Some red robins.
I love that. I love that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about the Rewinder.
Yes, let's. I think we have to go back to the beginning. Let's rewind. Yeah. Back to the beginning.
Let's rewind.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The Rewinder is an adventure puzzle game based on Chinese mythology. You play as Yoon, the last known Rewinder, who can communicate with spirits and explore other people's memories to alter the past.
I mean, that's pretty good. That's what you do.
I thought that was good. It was like, wow, these little games, they really nailed their short descriptions.
I also found the Reddit profile of, I think, the artist for this game, and they had a cute little blurb that they used also around, like, the Chinese mythology and the Taoism and, like, will you find why the perfect village was in ruin? I don't know. It was cute. Overall,
that is cute.
People are the devs that worked on this game, or I guess I should say the developers, the artists, the sound folks, they just seemed really excited about their game when I was looking it up. But
it's very cool. Okay, tell me how it's made.
So this one's gonna be pretty small because this is a very small studio. Like it was created by Misty Mountain Studio, which is a Chinese studio in Shanghai. And these people are very fresh. Like the people who made it, the artist in his Reddit profile said that he went directly from school into this game studio. And the founder programmer said that he was working 2 jobs while he was also making this game. So this is very much so like an indie studio, a little tiny group. The 3 that I found worked on it based on their website was, and I apologize in advance for possibly mispronouncing here, is Jinyu Wei. And Jinyu Wei in the different interviews that I found also goes by Felix. Hongjia Ma, who is the artist and designer, who also goes by Zach. And then Wei Zhao Dai, who is our sound artist. And all 3, that is the whole studio. Done. Did it. This game released in 2021, and like I said, it was really small. This one also went to PAX, which is fun. So 2 games in a row, we get 2 little PAX puzzlers. Also in Game Pass, so it's just kind of fun. The only thing that I could really found other than the Reddit profile was I found one interview of somebody who interviewed them after seeing their demo at PAX. So just as an FYI, there's just really not a lot out there right now, I think because it's so small. But a couple of things. So one, they wanted the game to stand out a lot by bringing in the Chinese mythology and that Taoism. Like, that was a thing that they emphasized a lot, both in the interview.
There aren't very many games that do that.
There are not. And it was really fun. I guess we'll get into it. But as somebody who doesn't know a lot about Chinese mythology, it was really engaging to see such a different culture represented. Because it also takes place in like ancient China. So it's not like current. We're, traveling back in time. But they also thought that it was really unique because it played not only with physical space, but temporal space, which I would agree with.
Yeah.
The couple of things that I want to mention around the difficulty in making the game. So, of the challenges that they ran into, one, localization. Like I said, this is a Chinese studio, but they felt really passionate about being able to reach the Western audiences. So for the demo, the programmer actually did all of the localization himself, which is wild. They said they were looking for a studio to help them, or a partner to help them with the localization for the final game. So hopefully they did that. I couldn't figure out if they had or not, but I thought it was worth shouting out that this guy did literally all the localization for the demo, which is kind of crazy. And then the second challenge kind of on top of that, I thought as gamers, I think we'll relate with a lot, especially as gamers who would love to build games, is they kept running into like, they would design and build these puzzles and they'd play them and they're like, this isn't fun. And they were like, I know how to play games, and so I can tell that this isn't fun, but I don't know how to design them. And so there was like a lot of iteration as they built it, and then they played it, and they're like, crap. And then they built it, and they play it, and they're like, crap. And I feel like that's something that I very much so relate to, as like, I can play a game and know
because you can make something and then you're like, wait, this isn't actually that fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And especially if it's like your first game that you're trying to build up, it's like you really don't know.
It's also hard to quantify what something like what fun means, because it's really like you only get it until you play it.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to have
it's
that.
It's so hard to like try to intentionally make something fun. Yeah.
And like reading it on paper, you can be like, yeah, that sounds fun. And like we've even seen from reading things on paper, they can really end up very different from like how you'd expect them to. So I thought that was kind of a fun little challenge of their little cycle of iteration until they finally felt confident enough to be like, okay, yeah, this is it. And then they brought that version into PAX, so that's what eventually made it there. As far as the inspiration, they did say that they wanted it to be both traditional and modern Taoist fantasy stories, which is called Zhanjia. So like there was a lot that you see in the plot and in the like, the main origin. They called him a Taoist magician, which I thought was interesting, of like that main character. really essential to this like fantasy, which I think is really fun. And then from a technical perspective, which I forgot to mention on the last one, this was made with Unity. Botany Manor was also made with Unity. And all of the art was done in Sprite, which I've seen and used before. And the artist that posts on Reddit a lot of this stuff, God, the game is so pretty, and to see him posting all of his like iterations, it was pretty from the start.
Oh, that's nice.
Like it did not go through like the iteration that you might see in like Stardew Valley. You know, you saw the old one, you're like, jump scare, and then you get to the new one, you're like, okay, cool. But it started off beautiful. Like, it's just, I don't know. The artist is very talented.
Talented artist, yeah.
Yes. And that's cute. All I could find for this one.
Yay!
But short and
that's
sweet.
Cute.
Short and sweet.
I like it. Okay, this one's also going to be short and sweet. There was not enough critics that reviewed this to get a Metacritic score.
Really?
It only had 2 critic reviews, yes.
Wow.
It had a 7.2 user score, but that was only based off of 6 user reviews on Metacritic, which I found so fascinating because it was overwhelmingly positive on Steam with 5,000 reviews.
Are you serious? And only 2 people looked at it?
Only 2 critics reviewed it.
Wow.
And 6 users reviewed it on Metacritic. So I've just never seen like dissonance like that before.
That's wild.
Which was very interesting, and like I don't really know why that is. Like I couldn't really find a reason why that is. I wonder if it's because it was like at first released to like the Chinese audience. Oh. And so maybe the bulk of the Steam reviews are like Chinese players. I'm not sure. I really couldn't figure it out. But a lot of the positives in the Steam reviews was a lot of people, I think it was like a lot of like Chinese people like really excited to see their culture like represented.
Yeah.
And also like, you know, accurately represented. I feel like in Western culture, what has reached us is more, I mean, obviously you have your Greek mythology, but I almost feel like I know more about Japanese ancient Japanese culture more than I know about like ancient Chinese mythology.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people were really excited to see that. And then a couple reviews were talking about how accurate the translation was. Like people that were bilingual were saying that they played it in both languages and were really impressed by the translation.
Great.
And the way that they talked about the different mythological characters in a way that was like teaching the culture and just like really, really liking that. And then the only complaints that I saw were there's like a few complaints about it not having like a real ending, which is accurate. Like they set it up for a sequel.
Oh, they definitely did that. That's fair.
Yeah. And so I think people were like, just like kind of complaining about that, but not really. And then another couple, which was funny, was just like, these puzzles are too hard. I can't play this game. I was like, well, it sounds like a skill issue.
We're really leaning on that skill issue terminology lately.
I know. Dylan used it and I can't stop.
I know. Thank you, Dylan, for your contribution.
Yeah. But that's it. There we go.
Yeah.
Should we talk about first impressions?
So, first impressions, beautiful environment, set a mood. Man, what a mood. It was really fun.
Yeah.
And
it was so cool.
They did the thing that I love where they make the environment feel alive, like things move, and I don't know, it just makes everything feel better. Like, take notes. Everybody just make everything move, and it feels so good. And then the sound design I was really delighted by, like when you click buttons and it makes the little gong noise. And so right away I was feeling really good about that. I will say, if we want to think about like, I don't know where I want to cut off first impressions here, but if I cut it off around like when you're finally introduced to the puzzle mechanic, which we can get into.
Yeah.
I will say that I was super overwhelmed up front of like, oh my God, I'm learning so much. There was like so many steps and so many things I needed to learn. And so I was a little overwhelmed. And then as soon as I caught it, it was really straightforward after that. But reading all the instructions at first, I was like, oh God, what have we done? But then I caught it. So those are my first impressions.
Yeah, I had really similar ones. Like jumping into it, the environment was very like well created, so the artists like really did their job super well.
Yes.
And it was just, I was excited for another puzzle game, and then I think I texted you, I was like, The first puzzle I ran into, I was like, oh my God, this is kind of breaking my brain.
Yeah.
Like, it's breaking my
did.
brain. It's so cool, though, because I think it's like breaking my Western brain. Do you know what I mean?
No!
Like, not in
What?
like a, you don't know what I mean
No!
when I say that?
What do you mean?
Because it's like the math, it's like Eastern math
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
fair. Yeah. Are you talking about
And
like the
like writing
abacus?
is, yes.
Yes,
And then
okay.
like the writing is all like, instead of it being left to right, it's right to left. And like, it's just, I think it's like, that is the kind of brain breaking, which I really liked because it's like challenging my norm, like what normal means. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, okay, I understand now. That makes sense. It was definitely like very culturally Chinese. They leaned in. There was a lot of references to it. It was not light. Like it was very heavy in it, but I loved it. It was very
Yeah.
immersive. It was very immersive.
Yeah, it was very good. Okay. Oh, wait, should I do a quick little summary of the story?
Yeah, you summarize the story and then I can do mechanics. Cool.
Okay, so the quick little story of this is that you are a rewinder, and rewinders are like generationally passed down. So, and there's not very many of them,
I
and
think he's the
their
last
abilities. Oh, yeah, you're the last one.
Yeah.
That's right. Yoon is the last one. And what they are is they help keep the balance between like the spirit world and the human world by ensuring that, you know, humans pass on into the afterlife and nothing is being messed with or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the ability to go back in time and change subtle things to change the course of the future.
Yep.
And at the very beginning of it, you have these two spirits, Mr. White and Mr. Black, that enlist you to help with a town that has a bunch of negative energy, or like essentially it's just like energy that means something has become off with like the timeline there and you have to go fix it. And they convince you to go fix it and your character's like, oh, I don't want to go, but they're like, you kind of have to. And so then you go fix it and you have your little, you have like a sidekick as well that helps you. And it kind of ensues from there where you're uncovering what has happened to this town. You're going back in time and you're like fixing things like one step at a time. And at the very end of it, you like completely kind of fix what has happened.
Yeah.
And it sets up for the sequel right at the end of that. So, because like the main big bad gets away.
Yeah.
So there we go.
That's great.
Did you say spoiler? Sorry.
No. We haven't got spoilers yet, I don't think. But we will be now. Yay.
I mean, I just spoiled the ending of the game.
Oh, but... I guess that's true.
Okay. And... game mechanics.
Game mechanics. So the game mechanics are pretty much Inception. It's like the best way that I can think to describe it. So you find these souls and they each have an item of resentment. So something that they resent has happened based on like however, like whatever the outcome was. As an example, one wife is resentful because the husband left her and then never returned. He left her all there. So now she's like this spooky evil spirit and you find her item of resentment and then you can go back to the moment of time where the resentment originated. And then you have like the actual puzzle in that moment. Now, there are a lot of ambient puzzles, which we won't necessarily get into because they're all unique. And they're all very good and very well designed, in my opinion.
Were.
But the main puzzle mechanic here is that you go back in time, you get a scene, and then you have to notice like when people are having thoughts or they're making considerations. And then you take the information you find based on what people are thinking, based on things that are in the scene. And you combine those things to implant ideas in people's heads so that they make different decisions.
It is literally Inception.
It's literally Inception. And it's very, very cool. So like the one where the wife has a husband that has disappeared, right? You incept in his head eventually that they're arguing and she says, just take me with you. And you incept like, yeah, okay, come with me, instead of him leaving by himself, right? And then you come back afterwards and the whole town has changed because now you've changed history. And so as a result, everything is different. And that created a whole lot of layers because you're in the same town the whole time. And like the little side town, there's like two kinda, but it's mostly the same place. And it's really fun to stay in the same place the whole time and then have time constantly be changing and then changing the environment around you.
The environment.
Yes, it was very creatively done and it was very like I don't know, seeing everything go together is one of the most unique puzzle experiences I've had in a while, both because of the cultural difference in the story, which I thought was really good, but then those two things on top of this mechanic, I thought was just really fun. I was like, wow, this is so unique. I don't know. It's a
It
very unique
was. It
game.
was really creative. And the other thing that you run into when you go in to incept the memory is like you have to warp there in this little cave. And the
Mm-hmm.
cave always had another little like mini puzzle.
Yeah.
And it always had to do with like rewinding in a bit.
Yeah.
Like in a way, like rewinding time kind of. And it was just like breaking my brain.
It
That's what I'm
did.
saying. It was
Those
like
are so
breaking
hard.
my brain.
They were
It
so
was just
hard.
like you hear a melody and you're like, okay, I know that melody, but then you have to do the melody
In
backwards.
reverse. Yeah.
And or you have to like do actions and then it replays the actions backwards. And it's
Yeah.
like you say that and it's like, oh, that sounds easy. For
It's
some
so
reason
hard.
it's not. It's
Yes,
so hard.
It's so hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so I really wanted to talk about two story beats that like really like got my heartstrings.
I assume I know which one, so I'm gonna thumbs up.
So the first one was there's this little side quest that you're doing kind of the whole time with the tree guy.
Yeah.
And you read into it in the spirit world. It's this humanoid tree. And you get the feeling that he had a link to, he has a link to the human world in a way. And he had this like romance that he's trying to remember, but he can't quite remember.
Yeah.
All he knows is that he really likes flowers.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, when you go into the human world, can you bring me back flowers? And so throughout your journey, you're like finding different flowers. And when you find a new one, his little hand like sticks out from underneath the ground and like gets the flower. And then he plants it in his little area in the underworld. And it's just like so cute and so sweet. I just fell in love with that little side story. And it was just, I don't know, it just really struck me. But
Did you end up collecting all the flowers? Because I didn't get them all.
I didn't get them all. You actually can't get them all on the first playthrough because one of the flowers, you either get one or the other, depending, because there's multiple ways to solve a puzzle.
Oh, that's interesting.
And so if you solve it one way, you get this flower. And if you solve it the other way, you get this other flower. So at the very end, you unlock the ability to replay other chapters, and then you can go finish it out.
Oh, I wonder, I bet there's a cute little cutscene whenever you get them all. I bet you there is.
I will go figure it out because I want to do that.
Yes. Tell me what it is because I bet it's going to be pretty adorable. Yeah, because I got the idea that there was like a lost love somewhere, which was very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume the second one, the second story beat is is it Pippa? The Pippa player?
Pippa. Yeah.
So in the little town that you're in, what eventually happens is when you change time enough, most of the town flees and two people are left behind, which eventually becomes only one person gets left behind. And the person who always gets left behind is this little Pippa. I'm sorry if it's Pippa, but I'm pretty sure it's Pippa. The Pippa player, which is an instrument. And he was supposed to be performing on the day that everyone fled. And nobody watched his little performance. It was very sad. And so in his afterlife, he's just playing the little Pippa the whole time. But you eventually befriend him and you take him along with you because he's the stuck soul. Yeah, you end up with another companion to help you out because his Pippa has like special powers that help you clear out like the island a little bit. And he becomes like a staple in the story, following along you and your other companion named Light. And I just loved this storyline because, one, it was just so sad that he was the only one that ended up being a victim of the tragedy. But then, are you okay if I go deep into like the end of his storyline?
Yeah.
But then at the very end, what happens is you end up getting tricked by the big bad. And you, as the main character, have now died. And you are the last one of your kind, the last rewinder. And so Light, your companion, is going to sacrifice herself. And she has this really sweet heart-to-heart with Pippa before she does it. And they're talking about how they wanted, like, what did you want out of life? And it was like about friendship. And it was just very, very sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm refraining so much from saying sacrifice himself, but that's what he does. That's what he does at the
Trying to sacrifice himself.
at the very end.
Really ruined
He
it.
I know, right? He pushes Light out of the way and sacrifices Pippa. The Pippa player sacrifices himself, and at that sacrifice, the main sadness that happens when you sacrifice yourself to raise somebody back from the dead is you lose all memory of this person ever existing, and so nobody even knows who they are.
Nobody knows who he is.
And the whole game talks about reincarnation, and this person cannot be reincarnated because they've given their life in this way. So it is a very tragic end for this character. And it was so sweet. I was sobbing, literally sobbing. And he was like, because we are companions. He was like, what's a companion? And he was like, I think that's what we are. I'm getting sad just thinking about it. It was so sweet. And so, honestly, I have no idea how they managed to tell such a heartwarming story in such a small set of time with such a small set of characters, but I literally was sobbing at the end.
Yeah.
It was so sweet. And we didn't even touch on the Ming and Ying love storyline, which was also adorable. This was a great, everything about, the little story beats was so cute. So sweet.
Yeah, the story beats were just so sweet. And, everything about this village just, I don't know, it was very small town stories, but it just was very, emotional. It was good. It's about the human experience,
it was very human experience, very about death and life and sadness
love
and regret
and loss.
Yeah, and making the wrong choices that seem like small choices, waiting too long, to haggle over a price, and then that becoming resentful. It was just very human. It was a very human experience. I loved this game. I really loved it, and I'm so happy that there's a second one. Maybe I would have been mad with the ending if I didn't know there was going to be a second one, but there is.
Well, because this game came out 5 years ago, so think about having played this 5 years ago.
Yeah, and then waiting.
We're lucky that the game is imminently coming out soon, the second one.
I'm really excited for the second one. I look forward to seeing what they do.
Yeah, me too. Okay, do we want to wrap up thoughts? Oh, I had really, really, really quickly one more thing. The very last puzzle with the numbers. My God.
Wait, which one? Can you remind me which one?
Where all of the numbers had to add up to the same number, but they didn't give you... It was hard Sudoku. It was Sudoku on extreme mode.
Okay.
Because you didn't know what they were supposed to add up to, just that they were supposed to all add up to the same thing. And then you got no hints as to what numbers would go where.
Yeah.
And so... I'm very proud of myself that I solved that one, but it legit took me 30 straight minutes.
Oh my, well.
DK was laughing at me. He was cackling. He was like, why don't you just look it up? And I was like, I will not.
No. I definitely think that these puzzles were on the harder side, and there are some of them that were you couldn't just solve it right away. You had to do other things before you could go back and solve. A lot of math
heavy.
Yes, but meanwhile, I was like, yes, this felt like the perfect sweet spot of difficulty for me, because I felt like I struggled on some of them still, but they felt very solvable. But I agree with you, that one was a hard one. The abacus one took me too long.
The abacus also, it's the math, I just could not fucking figure out how to make it work. But now I know how to work an abacus.
It's true, I did learn how to use an abacus.
I learned.
Skills.
I learned.
That's right. If you're parents listening to this and you'd like your kid to get better at math.
This is the game. This is the game. Math puzzles abound. Okay, wrap up thoughts. Give me them.
Okay, wrap up thoughts. I thought this was unique and delightful, and the fact that only 2 critics have reviewed it is a literal crime. I loved the uniqueness of the puzzles, that they were so well integrated into the story, and that the puzzles themselves had a nice difficulty level that, for me, was still really fun and engaging without being frustrating and annoyed with poor puzzle design. So overall, very, very satisfied. This ending made me sob like a little baby. I would give this one a 5 out of 5. And I would give it 5 out of 5. I'm stealing Pippa. 5 out of 5 Pippas. The little instrument, not the person.
I love that. Not the person. I love that. Okay, we're going to just be opposites. I think I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I really loved it, and I was sad when it was over. But I think I don't know, for some reason it just didn't quite hit me as much as. But this is why I was saying I think I had a 5 out of 5 experience with this group, which is why I was like I had like a I wanted to kind of rate it as like a group of like this was a 5 out of 5 grouping of games to play.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You know what I mean?
That's a correct statement.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'll just say fine. Fuck it. 5 out of 5 on this one too. I just feel like it was a 5 out of 5 week of games, and maybe I'll do Lights.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like such a good game. I don't know. And I really do feel like we found a hidden gem here.
Yes,
like
I think so. Yes.
I feel like we hardly ever stumble into those, but I feel like we've done it.
I'm surprised that more people haven't started talking about it now that it has entered Game Pass, but maybe it's because it's a little indie puzzler, you know? It's hard to sometimes get people to play those, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we're out here on the pod. We're helping game creators get discovered.
Play this one.
Play The Rewinder.
We spoiled
play
like
Botany
practically
Manor.
nothing for you. Yeah. Just play it. It's really good.
Yeah. Quick. God, I so badly need to leave, but I have a quick off topic that Bridget and I were briefly talking about.
Talk about this so bad. I'll be late to my drinks for it.
I'm going to make us have like a 2-minute conversation. I would just be very sad if I did not mention this on the podcast so that other people could not experience this. Also, I'm just like so flattered that you watched my recommendation because almost no one ever does that. So
I know how good you are at recommendations, Maddie.
I love my friends, but I have sent that Vampire Diaries video to multiple people and not a single person has watched. So when I sent you a 4-hour-long video about the failure of the Star Wars hotel, I was definitely thinking there's no fucking way she's going to watch it, but I think you would really like it because it talked about the experience and how it completely failed to be a like puzzle. Yeah. And it was trying to be this like really cool interactive kind of puzzle experience. Yes. And I was like, and it just completely failed at it. And I was like, wow, this is so fascinating. And it's a 4-hour-long deep dive. The YouTuber is named Jenny Nicholson. I was just like, I have to send this to Bridget, even if she doesn't like watch it, it'll be fine. But then you watched it.
It was so really good.
Happy.
Honestly, people who like video games will also probably find it really engaging because if there's one takeaway I had from that stupid video, it's that whoever created that experience have never played a video game in their life.
Yes.
Like they used the terminology in one of the advertisements, RPG door, and then they like described it pretty well. You see a locked door, you want to get through it. Yes, totally agree. And then their solution to that was just to randomly unlock it for people. Like, have you never played a video game in your life? Ever? I don't know. It was so entertaining. I was surprised at how entertaining it was. When I saw it was 4 hours, I was like, Jesus Christ. So I didn't watch it right away. But I eventually made my way back to it. And it was definitely worth it. I was surprised by how worth it that 4-hour video was. And now I'm very interested in the lore of the Star Wars hotel just in general.
I know. It's so good. I'm excited for you to be on the Jenny Nicholson train.
Now
because I've been waiting to talk about her videos with someone. No one has watched it yet.
I'm glad that I can be really the first.
Excited.
I'm sorry, but a 4-hour video is fairly daunting. It's fairly
I know
daunting.
It is. I know it is, but it's very good.
Yeah. And she like changes costumes every chapter. Wild. Hilarious.
So for people listening, if a very thorough roast of some interesting like random topics interests you, go to Jenny Nicholson's YouTube channel. She has so many good videos. One of her favorites of mine is called the Church Play Cinematic Universe.
I'm so excited for that one.
Deep dive on these like, you know how there's these churches that just have bukus of fucking money?
I mean, I used to be in church plays. You were talking to a church play connoisseur.
It's like the plays that these like mega churches with insane amounts of money puts on.
We used to have one called Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames, and if she doesn't talk about in that video, I'm going to be a little disappointed because it's the most traumatizing thing that you'll ever see.
I think she follows the same church, so unless it's your church.
Well, I don't know how popular it is because you actually have to license it. You have to license Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's your church. We'll find out. Your old church. Yeah. Sorry. Your old church. And then she also has a Vampire Diaries video.
I'm very
that's
excited for
incredible.
That one. Very excited. And I'm rewatching the Vampire Diaries right now, so it's also just generally well timed because I've restarted it. So 10 out of 10. I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
Thank you for your recommendation.
Can be the Vampire Diaries video. Yeah, of course. Okay. All right. We must end this. Okay. I have plans. I can't believe I made plans on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I was like, you're going for drinks on a Thursday? Come on, Maddie.
What am I doing? What am I, in college? Okay. Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and rate it. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Baddy Breakdowns, and visit our website, baddybreakdowns.com, made by Bridget Keenheiser. The podcast art was done by the wonderful Tanisha Vernikar, and it was edited by me, and I also made our theme music. Join us next time to hear us two baddies break down Animal Well.
Woo! And then we get to talk about more puzzle design, but I've got
more puzzles. The month of puzzles. Woo! May is the month of puzzles. Okay. All right.
Okay. That was really enthusiastic.
I'm just so pumped up about Janae Nicholson. Okay.
Oh, bye.
Okay. Bye. All right, bye.
Hey guys, this is Bridget from the future. Just as a heads up, things might be a little bit less predictable over the next few weeks as I head off to my honeymoon and as Maddie deals with some personal things around her sweet puppy. So keep them in your thoughts. We are excited to bring you Animal Well when we do get there, but it might be not as consistent as we normally expect from our releases. But we're not gone. Thank you in advance for your flexibility. We love that you guys like listening to us every other week, and we'll see you next time.